The night was calm, the air thick with the scent of rain-soaked earth, and the hum of crickets filled the suburban silence. Inside a small two-story home on Maplewood Lane, new parents, Emily and Jack Thompson, finally had a moment to breathe. Their newborn daughter, Lily, was just 6 weeks old, and life had been a blur of sleepless nights, bottles, and quiet lullabies. But tonight felt different. Emily had just laid Lily in her crib, humming softly, her tired eyes half shut. Finally asleep, she whispered to herself. Jack smiled, leaning against the doorframe. "You did it, Supermom." At her feet, the golden retriever, Max, lifted his head. His ears perked, eyes following every movement Emily made. Ever since Lily came home from the hospital, Max had been unusually protective, sleeping outside her nursery door, whining whenever someone besides Emily picked her up. Emily chuckled, reaching down to scratch behind his ear. "She's okay, boy, you can rest now." But Max didn't move. He stood up, tail stiff, eyes fixed on the crib. Jack frowned. "He's been doing that every night. Maybe he's jealous. Maybe," Emily murmured, though her voice lacked conviction. When they turned off the light and left the nursery door slightly ajar, Max whined again, softly, almost mournfully. The couple exchanged a glance, brushed it off, and went downstairs. Around midnight, a faint sound echoed through the baby monitor. Lily's gentle coos, followed by a sharp bark. Emily sat up immediately. "Did you hear that?" Jack groaned, rubbing his face. "It's just Max again." But Max wasn't barking at nothing. Upstairs, he stood beside the crib, his body rigid, a low growl vibrating from his chest. His eyes darted toward the window, then the vent, then back to Lily. Emily rushed in. "Max, no." She scooped Lily into her arms, heart pounding. "It's okay, sweetheart." Max kept growling, his gaze never leaving the crib. "Jack," she called. "Something's wrong." Jack hurried in, switching on the light. What the hell's gotten into him? But when he approached, Max stepped between him and the crib, teeth bared, not in aggression, but in warning. It was protective, defensive. Emily froze. "He's guarding her." Jack's face tightened. "From what? The next morning, sunlight filtered through the curtains, and the world seemed normal again. Max lay by the crib, eyes open, watching Lily sleep. Emily smiled faintly. "He must just love her too much." Jack shrugged. "He's a dog. Dogs get weird about babies sometimes." But that night, things got stranger. Every time Emily tried to lay Lily in her crib, Max would whimper, scratch the floor, and refuse to leave her side. When they finally coaxed him downstairs, he barked relentlessly until they brought Lily back into the living room. It went on for days. "Jack, this is getting ridiculous," Emily said one evening. "He's not sleeping. We're not sleeping. Maybe he senses something we don't." Jack chuckled. "What? Ghosts?" "I'm serious." Emily's eyes glistened with exhaustion. "Animals. They sense things. Gas leaks, carbon monoxide, danger." Jack paused, considering. Then he shook his head. "The baby's fine. You're just tired." But that night, Max started scratching the nursery wall. Hard. So hard that his paws began to bleed. Emily screamed. "Stop, stop, Max." Jack grabbed him by the collar, pulling him away. "He's losing it, Emily. Maybe he's got rabies or something." "No," Emily whispered, looking at Max's trembling body. "He wasn't crazed. He was terrified." His fur stood on end, eyes fixed on the corner behind the crib. Jack followed his gaze. Nothing. Just the faint hum of the baby monitor. But Max wouldn't calm down. He howled, a deep, mournful sound that made Lily start to cry. "I'm calling the vet tomorrow," Jack muttered. Something's wrong with him. That night, Emily kept Lily in their room. Max curled up beside the bed, finally quiet. The next morning, Emily woke to find Max gone. Panic surged through her. She rushed to the nursery, and froze. The floor vent was half open. "Jack," she screamed, "did you open this?" He ran in, confused. What are you talking about? She pointed. The vent. It was open. Jack frowned. Probably just loose. But Max was standing over it now, sniffing, growling. Emily knelt beside him. What is it, boy? And then, something moved. A faint rustle, deep inside the vent. Jack's face paled. Probably a mouse. Emily shook her head. No, that's not a mouse. That night, neither of them slept. Max refused to leave the vent, pacing, whining, barking whenever the sound returned. At 3 a.m., Lily woke crying. Emily picked her up, rocking her gently. Max suddenly leaped toward the wall, snarling. Jack switched on the flashlight, and froze. There was a hole in the drywall near the vent. Fresh, small, something had chewed through it. Oh my God, Emily whispered. There's something in there. Jack stepped closer, light trembling in his hand. Inside the darkness, two faint glimmers reflected back, eyes. Jesus Christ, he gasped, stumbling back. Max barked furiously. Emily clutched Lily tighter. Jack, call 911. When the police arrived minutes later, the officers quickly assessed the scene. Could be a raccoon nest, one said. But Max's behavior said otherwise. He stood rigid, teeth bared, body shaking violently. Mom, take the baby outside, the officer instructed. Emily obeyed, heart pounding. She stood on the porch, clutching Lily, listening to muffled thuds and scraping sounds from inside. Then, silence. Moments later, one of the officers stepped out, pale. You need to see this. Emily handed Lily to Jack and followed. In the vent's opening, tangled in wires and insulation, was a small device, metal, blinking faintly. What is that? She whispered. The officer knelt. A hidden camera. Emily's blood ran cold. What? Jack's face went blank. You're joking. But the officer shook his head. No, it's wired. Someone's been monitoring this room. Emily covered her mouth. Oh my God, my baby. They found more. Tiny microphones hidden behind the baseboard. Another camera in the smoke detector. Who would do this? Jack demanded. The detective looked grim. Someone who had access to the house before you moved in. Do you know the previous owner? Emily nodded weakly. It was an older man. He said his son helped him install security features before he passed away. The detective exchanged a look with his partner. We'll need his name. Hours later, after the police left, Emily sat on the couch holding Lily, trembling. Max lay at her feet, his head on her lap. She whispered, You knew, didn't you, boy? Max looked up at her, eyes soft, tail thumping weakly. Jack sat beside her, stunned. I can't believe this. Someone's been watching us, watching her. Tears rolled down Emily's cheeks. And Max, he never let her sleep alone. He was protecting her. Jack took her hand. He saved us. The next day, the police called back. The devices had fingerprints, all belonging to the previous owner's son, who was now under investigation for hidden surveillance crimes. He'd installed security systems in several homes and used them to spy on families. Emily felt sick. So he's been watching us since we moved in. Likely, the officer said quietly. But your dog caught it before anything worse happened. Weeks passed, and the house slowly began to feel like home again. The vents were sealed, the devices gone, and security cameras of their own were installed. Real ones they controlled. But Max became a hero in their town. The local paper called him the guardian dog of Maplewood Lane. Neighbors came to meet him, bringing treats, patting his head. But for Emily, the real moment came one quiet evening when she laid Lily down in her crib again, for the first time since it all happened. Max stood beside her as always, tail wagging. Emily smiled. It's okay now, boy. She's safe. Max tilted his head, then finally, lay down beside the crib and closed his eyes. A soft breeze moved through the curtains. The room glowed in the gentle light of the moon. Emily stood in the doorway, watching her baby sleep, her loyal dog guarding her still. Jack wrapped an arm around her waist. You think he'll ever stop guarding her? She smiled through tears. I hope not. Months later, Lily took her first steps, straight toward Max. The golden retriever wagged his tail, lowering his head to her height. Lily giggled, clutching his fur. Emily snapped a photo, her heart swelling. He was never just a pet, she whispered. He was her angel. Jack nodded softly. He still is. Years went by, but the bond between Lily and Max only grew stronger. Wherever she went, he followed. Whenever she cried, he appeared. And though Emily and Jack never forgot that terrifying night, the fear, the cameras, the invasion, they also never forgot the miracle that came from it. Because sometimes, protection doesn't come from where you expect. Sometimes, it comes with fur, paws, and eyes that see what humans cannot. One late summer evening, Lily, now 3 years old, knelt beside Max under the golden sky. She whispered, "Thank you for keeping me safe, Max." The dog licked her cheek gently, his tail brushing against the grass. Emily watched from the porch, tears glimmering in her eyes. Her voice broke softly in the wind. You saved her life before she could even say your name. As the sun dipped behind the horizon, Max looked up one last time, his gaze steady, peaceful, proud. In that quiet moment, everything made sense. The fear, the sleepless nights, the mystery, it had all led to this miracle of love and protection. A dog's instinct, a mother's faith, a family forever changed.